So hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar called Working Remotely, Maintaining Business Continuity Using Video Conferencing. This webinar is brought to you by the Canadian Professional Sales Association and LogMeIn. Please note that you've all been placed on mute for the duration of this webinar, but that you may ask questions at the end using the chat or question function. As we all know, one of the implications of COVID-19 has been that many in-person events and meetings are getting canceled or moved online. Some sales professionals may be well-versed in conducting effective in-person meetings, but many of them, especially the online ones, aren't going as well as they could. Part of the reason is that some of the strategies that work well for in-person meetings don't really translate well to online meetings. In today's webinar with video conferencing tool LogMeIn, we will discuss some simple starting points for organizing and running high-quality online meetings, internally or externally. Hosting, we have Chris Obaz, Senior Territory Channel Manager at LogMeIn, and Aaron Engineering, Regional Sales Manager at Polycom. Now, I'll hand it over to Chris to start.
Thank you very much, Ruplin. Appreciate all of you taking the time today to join our webinar. Today I'll be talking about tips, tricks, and technology on how you can successfully work remotely from your home office. Myself, I've been a full-time remote worker for about 8 years now, and the world really it's changed quite a bit. We're seeing the rise of the remote workforce, and the remote working revolution has begun about 5 to 10 years ago. COVID-19 really simply sped up that process and changed the world forever. Before the crisis, about 48% of North Americans work remotely, either on a full-time basis or on a part-time basis. And now that number has jumped to a staggering 74% and continues to grow. Even the adoption of remote working for companies has changed, allowing their employees to work remotely efficiently with the reduction of costs. For example of that is less costs on brick and mortar working spaces, while seeing their employees have more productivity, as well as a reduction in personal costs, say for an example, gas and travel. So modern technology really ushers in this new era of convenience. Cloud-based solutions such as GoToConnect, GoToMeeting, and GoToWebinar, which we'll discuss later, allows the ease and convenience. As salespeople, you can become actually more efficient and touch more prospects and customers virtually. Considering old sales, driving time, in-person meeting, stop for lunch, more driving time, another meeting. The old sales, you can kind of do 2, maybe 3 face-to-face meetings, where in this new virtual world, you can do 6 to 8 meetings every day. So whether you're working from home or from a coffee shop or a cottage or wherever you choose to be working from, with the right tools, we can help you keep going and keep growing with products such as GoToConnect, GoToMeeting, and GoToWebinar. Now, let's talk about video conferencing strategies and how to have a more effective remote presentation. First off is keep the traditional PowerPoint presentation simple. First off, only use high quality graphics. I have been on multiple presentations where the presenter is showing the customer's logo, for an example, which was a really low quality, and it just looks so unprofessional. So if you can't use high quality graphics, don't use the graphics at all. Only select the high quality graphics. Also, limit the animations and create an easy to understand charts to present the key data points. Now, if you're big on using bullet points, of course, we do have some bullet points throughout this webinar, but think again. Many experts actually believe that bullet points are a least effective way of sharing the ideas. Google CEO Sundar Pichai, for an example, doesn't use bullet points at all. He says, since stories are best told with pictures, bullet points and text-heavy slides are increasingly avoided at Google. So PowerPoints can still be an effective way to engage in sales meetings, but remember that the slide is used to be a tool to enhance the presentation and not so much used as a crutch or a script. Now, the next point is let's focus on developing a strong narrative. Successfully engaging with customers and prospects require really good storytelling. For that reason, some companies have abandoned PowerPoint presentations altogether in favor of more alternative solutions that are designed to foster more on the engagement side. Now, it might be hard to get a prospect or a client to buy into like a 6-page narrative memo, but you can apply the same concepts to your presentation. So presenting a strong and interesting narrative on what you deliver to your clients will surely pay dividends in your remote sales presentation. The next point is engage audiences with drawing tools. Now, one particular feature on our GoToMeeting, which I use daily, is the drawing tool. And it's important to think about not only what will resonate with your audience, but also how to get them engaged. The effective sales tools for your next online presentation is turning that slide presentation really into a virtual whiteboard. By leveraging a whiteboard content, it increases the overall credibility of and audience recall of your presentation. So add some interaction and interactive visual elements into your sales presentation. One thing I like to do is on that GoToMeeting is pass the drawing tool over to the person I'm presenting and ask the client to, fill in perhaps some blanks, some information, or even demonstrate one of the challenges that they're facing visually. Your ability to effectively engage with partners and customers online will improve, of course, engagement, sell-through, and ultimately profitability. The next point is eliminate the visuals that are actually distractions. Again, I've been on PowerPoint presentations where I thought I was going to have a seizure with people just doing tons of things. So while visual elements we've covered already certainly are impactful to the presentation, just be careful not to overdo it. When you're talking through the core value propositions of a product or a service, or listening to the client's needs, it's important to have to remove any of those distractions from the message. Talk only portions of your presentation can reduce friction and keep everyone focused on the conversation. So weave in some time to have concise and distraction-free conversations within your presentation time slot. And with video conferencing, you can have a face-to-face discussion to facilitate a more personal connection, which of course in sales, that personal connection is important. This face-to-face connection can go a long way for building trust and with the meeting participants, which is really crucial for the client-customer relationship. Now, here are 6 ways to give a more engaging virtual sales pitch. First off, entice your audience. Make your first minute count. Add intrigue and surprising statistics, or infuse some humor. For an example, my haircut, which is overdue by about 2 months, into your personal introduction. Attendees are more likely to stay focused on the sales presentation if they see that you're going to make the experience an enjoyable one, or one that's particularly interesting to them. Now, the second point is make it multimedia. Too many words on a slide is a shortcut to losing customer attention. Break up that written text with captivating visuals like infographics or charts. Showing videos also is a great way to help keep those clients awake and engaged. One trick, which we'll be doing later to sustain interest, is to switch the speakers at some point of time during the presentation. Not only does the second introduction help loop back any distracted partners, but also reinforces your team has the variety of expertise in what you're discussing. The third point is use unique, exceptional data. If your attendees have agreed to take the time out of their day to listen to your sales pitch, then have the faith in what you're selling is something that they really want and prove it to them. So answer the questions right out of the gate and back it up with compelling proof points throughout your meeting. Your goal should be to offer a presentation that inspires, educates, and empowers. So clients and or potential clients should sign off to your meetings grateful that they took the time to spend to listening to what you had to say. Number 4, and I think the most important thing, is turn on your video. Connecting through video can go a long way to limit distraction from the participants. If you can drive the conversation to mimic one that is face-to-face, prospects will be less likely to multitask. Multiple times I've heard people typing on their keyboard when they're not using the video component. So be sure to set those expectations up front that you're going to be connecting to video because nobody likes a surprise. And you know, even when you're sending out that meeting invite, you can simply mention that you're going to be sharing your camera so that they're prepared for it. As soon as the meeting starts, turn on your camera right away. And don't be afraid to even suggest to them to turn on their camera. They might not want to, and that's okay, but it's worth really the shot at keeping them engaged. Number 5 is invite audience participation. So rather than reserving questions and answers until the end of the sales pitch, keep attendees alert by holding a brief Q&A session during various points of your presentation. So this also allows clients to get any of their questions answered when they come up rather than saving them at the end of the meeting. And quite often they forget about the questions that they may have and they just have to route back. So attendees that are more apt in staying tuned when they know that they can ask questions throughout that sales presentation. So allow that gap. And watch your pacing. Hopefully my pacing's okay, but there is an art to a well-paced virtual sales presentation. So set out the time and use up all the time that you have and use it wisely. When you finish sharing a major point, maybe pause for a couple of seconds so that the client can absorb what you've just said. You can even actually just say, well, I'm going to take a few minutes so you can digest or write things down, which helps with that pacing as well as the engagement. These pauses offer also a good segue into them being able to ask the question. So giving everybody a chance to take a moment, catch their breath, and think of what you're sharing keeps them out of the information overload. So if folks become overwhelmed, they definitely start to tune out on the presentation. So watch that pacing. Now for the next portion of the presentation, we're going to be launching a poll. Again, as a technique on GoToWebinar allows us that customer engagement. So the poll is, since COVID-19, has your organization changed the way that they think about communications for the future? So I'll give us a few moments.
Perfect. Just the poll's just in progress.
I see. It's almost like racehorses here. Strongly agree is pulling out ahead. And we're almost done here.
Yep. Give it a few seconds.
Sure.
There we go.
All right, so 88% voted, and the winner is strongly agree, followed by a close second. So that's 47% that strongly agree, 30%, 36% is just change, is now to somewhat agree. So the majority of people who are attending today, you know, has certainly changed, and that makes it quite obvious that the world really has changed as to that remote working and communication. Thanks very much for your participation. Oops. Okay, so what do you need to get started working remotely? First and foremost is a reliable online software. Of course, I'm biased to GoToConnect and GoToMeeting, but what you should do when you're selecting a solution is make sure that it has high def video. You want to make sure that everything looks crystal clear. High def audio, or high fidelity audio, I should say, making sure that you can hear everything. Make sure that you can provide crystal clear screen sharing. So if you're doing PowerPoint presentations like us or any kind of information, you want to make sure that that can be seen. A low bandwidth performance, so it's not heavy on your internet requirements. And most importantly, and especially these days, security. We've all heard the news about this whole video bombing. So really important when selecting that you're selecting a tool that not only allows the ability to lock out meeting rooms, avoiding anyone who shouldn't be there to join, but also the ability to dismiss any attendees. So if you do see a person that's you don't recognize or shouldn't be on these meetings, you can simply dismiss them. Also, select a solution that allows you to add passwords as well. So adding a password onto your GoToMeeting or any of your other solutions allows that secondary layer of security, so you can avoid that whole video bombing. Couple with your software with a high quality wireless headset with noise cancellation. Now, Poly, of course, is here, but what I'm using right now is this Plantronics Voyager 5200, which, Aaron, who will be talking, it's one of my favorite products of all times. It's a very simple and lightweight. It comes with a case that is smaller than your cell phone. That's a chargeable case as well. Noise cancellation, it's the best way to be heard, of course, by the people attending. Also, when joining these types of solutions, join using the audio from the computer or your VoIP as the best quality for that. We do have dial-in features, so if the ability to join in using VoIP or your computer audio isn't available, sure, you can always dial in. But the best way to do it really is to join in with a VoIP solution. I also recommend using a separate high-quality webcam. I personally do not. It's on the way from Amazon. It's been ordered, but typically laptop computers, the cams from a laptop don't have the high res and don't do really well with lighting conditions, which is really important. So whenever possible, if you can, get a high res webcam that's separated. Also, the most important is the lighting. When we're working remotely now to this home office, it's not always going to be possible, but let there be light when you can. Make sure that the lighting is front facing and not from behind you, because it just washes out the appearance of your webcam and you just can't be seen. If that can't be avoided where you have light, say for an example, from a window coming in the front, then get a good lamp on your desk and have that so it illuminates your face and the light washes over your face so you can be properly seen. Now, here's one tool that we've launched many years back, which is useful really with any platform you decide to move forward. It doesn't necessarily have to be the go-to solutions, but it is what we call Jive View. It's a network diagnostic tool. Now, many of you, of course, might not be IT experts or have the confidence in understanding internet, and that's what's required for this type of a solution. So we developed this tool here that will run an overall diagnostic on your network to test the readiness and allow you, before you decide to move forward, to make any corrections to make sure that everything goes well with your meetings. So it'll test packet loss and latency and jitter, so your internet portions of it, as well as router settings, my apologies, such as SIP ALG. This will help identify any issues that you may have on your home network. So before you decide to launch into a GoToMeeting or any type of a SIP-based solution, you can do that without interruption. I'll be briefly talking over the three products that we are focusing here on for the remote working force. That's our GoToConnect, our GoToMeeting, and GoToWebinar. So a quick story. Roughly about 2 years ago, Jive, which is at the point of the acquisition, was the largest privately largest privately owned hosted PBX in North America, and it was acquired by LogMeIn. Since then, we've rebranded to GoToConnect. So if anyone's ever heard of Jive, we now call it GoToConnect. What GoToConnect is it combines the power of Jive, which is the hosted PBX, plus the reliability of GoToMeetings, web audio and video conferencing, all in one simple and reliable, flexible solution. So you and your employees can meet, they can talk, chat, text, collaborate, all seamlessly, all through a single application, keeping them productive and frustration-free. It is one simple to manage solution for a simple, affordable price. We don't, what we say, nickel and dime our customers. All the feature sets with a couple of exceptions to that, like our contact center, are all inclusive with our solution. And that includes everything that you would figure from a hosted PBX solution, from auto attendance to call queues, so on and so forth. But it also, as a standard pricing, includes one license of GoToMeeting for every single seat. So not only do you get the all-inclusive pricing as standard, with the powerful web and audio and video conferencing solution as part of that single bundle. So same price as buying a simple cloud-based VoIP solution, you're essentially getting two for the price of one. Now, all of the features, as mentioned before, at that one singular price, you get your voice, your messaging, SMS texting, unlimited fax, presence, integrations, video, audio conferencing, and screen sharing, all in one single pane of glass. To follow the same theme as far as giving our customers what they want, we allow, as part of our standard offering as well, lowest international calling rates on the planet. And in fact, you actually get 52 countries. Everything that you see here in green is part of our standard dialing plan. So all the dialing in North America, including cell phones and all those prefixes, are of course included, but everything else outside of North America that you see in green at the very least does have landline capabilities, where in some countries they don't include cell phone prefixes as an example. We still provide those low international rates. Oops. The other product I want to talk about is GoToMeeting. So GoToMeeting, is a standalone video collaboration solution that doesn't include the hosted PBX. This is just the standalone. So if you already have a voice component and you just want to take advantage of the GoToMeeting solution, this is it. LogMeIn has been named, of course, again, as a leader in the Gartner's Magic Quadrant for 2019 for the meeting solutions. GoToMeeting provides fast, easy, reliable online meeting solutions designed to power the workforce productivity, build better relationships, help drive business outcomes by meeting face-to-face every single time, sharing presentations and chatting with colleagues, all with one click of a button. Leveraged by many of the largest companies around the world, GoToMeeting is trusted by millions every day for professional, real-time virtual communication and collaboration. We are industry leading and reliable, meeting confidently with crystal clear audio and video over a simple and intuitive interface. GoToMeeting features the fastest start and join time in the industry as well. So as a video first experience, you can improve on audio clarity, easy to see screen sharing controls, no matter which device that you're on. So if you're joining from a Mac, a PC, or wherever you're joining from, including our mobile app, we make it as simple as possible. The last solution that I wanted to talk about is what we're on today, is our GoToWebinar solution. So GoToWebinar is the best-in-class webinar technology that's perfect for demos, for training, lead generation, and allows you to engage and interact with remote audiences wherever they are, which is important. We have more than 50,000 customers that trust us as their GoToWebinar solution. So GoToWebinar is a solution of choice for millions of webinars every single year. Some of the points that are available with GoToWebinar is that you're able to create the online webinar experience for up to 3,000 attendees. Customization from registration, design, automated emails. We can do polls and surveys for our engagement like we just previously did, reports, analytics, and more. This is a fantastic tool for lead generation as well as a revenue generation as well. So organizers, we give the ability to put an associated fee for those to attend the webinar. So if there is that interest of generating a webinar that has an associated price, now consider in this day and age where we're not able to travel and whatnot, hotel, airfare, putting on an associated fee to a webinar is not a difficult thing to do. So you can add that in there. Also, using GoToWebinar in conjunction with our GoToStage allows you to record your webinar and upload that to GoToStage, which is like a enterprise business class YouTube, if you will. So people can then later access your webinar and play it as if it was a live event. Now I want to talk about just overall behavioral tips. From working remotely for 8 years, there's a lot that I've learned, and these are some of the best practices. So, as previously mentioned, every single time, turn on that camera. Most people will follow suit actually. So having that face-to-face, especially in sales, we all know body language is really important. So turn that camera on and encourage your participants to also do the same. Also, as previously mentioned, it can assist with helping customers to stay engaged instead of checking their emails and responding, so on and so forth. So turn on that camera. The next one is being self-disciplined. It is a conscious decision to wake up at the same time and get dressed just like you're going into the office, and even make your bed every single morning to help you become task focused. So every morning since moving to a remote office, I still wake up at the same time, 7 a.m. Every day. I got a couple of hours instead of having that commute for an hour, and I was notoriously bad at eating breakfast. So now I've kind of incorporated that. So a bit of a healthy lifestyle. So be self-disciplined and make sure that you're waking up and getting yourself into the mental zone to really start to do work. Working from your pajamas or in your yoga pants is certainly comfortable, but it doesn't really get you into the proper mindset. Remove distractions, your chores, children, dog, TV, watching the last couple of episodes of Tiger King or whatnot. Try to remove those distractions and really stay tuned into your daily activities. Carve out breaks, which is important as well. Use those break times to, if absolutely required, go take the dog for a walk or do those other things that you require. But during your work times, just stick focus on the work. Optimize your space. Really important. I've seen a lot of people who has set up their remote working office in their kitchen or living room or whatever it might be. If at all possible, really try to create a dedicated working space for this. We don't sleep in our bathroom or sleep in the kitchen. At least most of us don't. So try to really dedicate that workspace to keep you again in the zone. Set boundaries and stick to them. And this is the hardest thing that I've had to deal with, whether it's cohabitating with spouses or roommates or whatever it might be. Give them the heads up that you're working, that you're not available for household chores and errands and whatnot, and to just give you that privacy. When I started working remotely, my wife notoriously would come down every single day and say, oh, I need to go do groceries. Can we do this? Eventually, after trying to tell her over and over again, I would actually pick up my cell phone. She'd be right behind me and I'd call her and I'd say, I'll be happy to do this once I finish work and I get home. So really set those boundaries, stick to them. At the same time, be mindful. It's really easy to accept every single meeting that you have while working remotely, but just don't do it. Really important to set boundaries and don't let work overpower your life. Especially if you're multinational and you have people requesting meetings outside of those workspaces, really set those boundaries and just stick to those two. Move. Especially this day and age now with COVID, a lot of people I'm finding are just sitting there kind of the entire day. If you're having a meeting that doesn't absolutely require video, although do turn on your camera whenever possible, but if you're having a meeting that doesn't, put on your wireless headset, get some steps in, connect to your GoToMeeting mobile and go for a walk back and forth, so on and so forth, go outside. It's important to continue to move. Socialize. One thing that people aren't doing, which I would love to see more, is that staying social with their coworkers. Nothing has to change now that we're working remotely by still engaging with your coworkers. So book some time. Book 15 minutes, 10 minutes during the morning, during the afternoon, to not necessarily talk about work, but water cooler talk. Talk about your favorite TV shows, personal topics, whatever that might be. Carve out those times every single day with your colleagues to help stay connected to those people and to get a bit of a break. Don't forget to eat. I use an app that's called Calendly, which allows people to book my meetings throughout the day, look at my calendar and throughout the day. I had that happen during lunch break until I got wise that I just simply wasn't eating. People were booking those times. So if if you're going to be working remotely, make sure you carve out time to eat. Especially if you're working again across multiple time zones, make sure that you have that time to eat and stay nourished. Don't eat at your desk. Uh, Eating at your desk, you just end up looking at your emails anyways. So during those times where you're going to have a bite to eat, go upstairs to your dining room, your living room, wherever it is that you eat, and leave the computer where it is. Take that break. It's important to take those breaks and nourish. As well as if you're going to be eating from your desk, you're just going to get crumbs in your keyboard anyway. So don't eat at your desk. And then finally, set time aside to spend with your loved ones. Be it if we have a hard stop at 5 o'clock or whatever your day ends, turn off your computer and spend time with your loved ones, whether that is the people within your household or the people across the world. I've used GoToMeeting with my wife, who is currently in Mexico with my son who's in school in Welland, my daughter who's in New Brunswick, my sister who's in British Columbia, to have a family gathering. We get onto GoToMeeting and have a chat. My director of channel also does today. Every Wednesday, we do a cocktail party. So after 5 o'clock, we all grab our drinks, we all hop on, and we don't talk about work. We just talk about things and have a cocktail. So it's really important to set that time away and to try to mimic what a normal working from the office environment would be. Another example is that there's a lot of online games like Fibbage and You Don't Know Jack, which I've participated with my family as well, that you can stay connected even if people are from all over the world. Now next, I'm going to be launching the next poll. This one's a little bit simpler. And actually, I think that, okay, and launch. Can you actually launch that? Okay, perfect. So do you feel that you have the tools to work remotely effectively? Just a yes and no, so pretty easy. Oh,
Chris, I think we might have
yeah.
both hit launch at the same time, which closed it.
Oh, okay. Okay, so never mind that. Sorry for our technical difficulties. Can we relaunch that? No. Closed. It's already closed. Sorry about that, guys. So ultimately, we want to know if you feel confident as to what you currently have, a yes or no. So perhaps we can do a poll afterwards, Ruplin.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, perfect. Excellent. So, thank you very much for all of your attention today. If you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us for any further information. Before passing over to Aaron from Poly, I just wanted to do a quick introduction of another panelist, Mike Desjardins, who is our sales consultant, solutions consultant for Canada. If you do have any questions, in French or anything technical of nature, Mike will be happy to answer any of those questions. So without any further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Aaron, Technology Alliance Partner and Key Contact from Poly, to continue with the presentation.
Hello, everybody. Great to meet you today. And thank you for LogMeIn and the Canadian Professional Sales Organization for putting this together. I know these are a lot of work when you do it. I work for a company affectionately known as Poly. Some of you may know us as Polycom, or some of you may know, Chris alluded to Plantronics, one of the world's largest headset manufacturers. Those two organizations came together a little over a year ago as one organization, merged into just a simple company called Poly, and really we're focused on the experience of our endpoints, and what you would see as an endpoint, maybe a headset, a desktop phone. As I think we saw here, 83% of you said communications are changing. And I've always been a work from home person. I've actually worked from home for the last, I'd say 12 years or so. I've been at Poly for 11 of those years, and working with Jive and the GoToMeeting solutions for the majority of that career, selling the endpoints and audio devices that connect to their solutions. But up until about 2 months ago, I've been on the road almost so 2 weeks ago, been on the road almost every single week. And it being home so frequently as we all are right now, it forced me into some changes with my own environment. I've been looking at this desk, an unfinished piece of wood, for a long time, for a pretty long time, and 2 filing cabinets I had set up that were pretty old and dingy. I bought them off of a OfferUp, local trading website or my town, and it forced me this weekend to get into a project. Curious if any of you guys maybe have gotten into some projects, or using this time, finding ourselves somewhat grounded to get into projects. Figured I'd use that to bring a little bit of reality, but I'm sitting at this desk right now. You've got the view behind me. But some of the things I realized as I started to get into doing this project over the weekend, and I didn't really realize it until I sat down at my desk when this was all finished, how much actually cleaning up, changing the environment, and making sure that every one of those devices that's sitting on the desk was optimally working really made a difference in my behavior. I think I've already broken today like at least 3 to 5 of Chris's rules for productivity. I ate at my desk this morning. I'm wearing shorts right now, I'll admit it, and I started work way too early, and I ended work way too late last night. So but some of these devices you'll see, these are some of the things that we're going to be talking about that can help you communicate better. A great speakerphone, a great desktop phone, which you see here, and an awesome headset. So we'll talk about some of those things. So Poly has been focused, and this study that you're looking at in front of you took us a little over 2 years to actually complete. We surveyed thousands and thousands of enterprises and organizations to talk about the different personas that are in the workplace. And you can it's obvious that the statistics were published before COVID-19, because I think our current statistics and the new trend is going to change drastically as a result of everybody working from home the way they are working from home now. So in a typical enterprise, you had somewhere 34% of your people were flex remote, another 14% were executives that would work in the office, but they also had work from home needs or remote workforce needs. And now we're saying everything's changing. I think organizations are starting to realize, you know what, yeah, we can do this. So there's going to be a new norm. A lot of people, a lot of companies, a lot of people will be going back to work, but there'll be a new norm because companies are realizing there are a lot of tools and our employees can be productive working from home. Now, you all as professional salespeople yourselves probably have this connected executive road warrior need. Is my surprise? Would be surprised if you were. So we've been developing solutions that meet those needs. So one of the biggest needs that we found when we did all of our surveys was noise in the workplace being a tremendous problem. I have part of that survey. Even some of our customers would say that 99% of the employees that they have would admit being disrupted by noise in the workplace at some time during the day. Some people going home to work, like I am right now, would find that increasing. I've got kids. I've got actually 3 of my kids are doing school from home right now. So I've got that increasing potential of them distracting me where I wasn't being distracted. And then if you're in an actual office environment, everybody knows those type of noises. But even something as simple as a doorbell ringing, or somebody coming into your office and interrupting you for a quick question can set you off track. Or the unintentional noise. For me, it's every morning when my wife starts grinding her coffee. This noise canceling headset that's on my head actually totally puts me in my own little world. It makes me makes me actually not even kind of hear when somebody's behind me actually saying, "Hey, Aaron, I really need your attention." It really puts me in my own little world all day long. That's why I love using this. I also love using this device right here, which is this little portable speakerphone. When I'm home and it's quiet, being hands-free, having this little device that I can take anywhere with me, whether it's a meeting face-to-face with a client, or just in my home office, having a really nice high-grade audio device coming out at me is just super important to my productivity when I'm working. And I can realize when I'm not using it how ineffective I actually am being. It's one of those technologies you don't realize until you start fixing the problem, how bad the problem was. So we solved that. So there's a few things that Poly has done to help reduce noise in the workplace. And it's 3 specific technologies that I'll talk to you about real quickly here. One is our desktop phones with a technology called acoustic fence. So you guys saw the picture of the desktop phone, but here's my handset here that was sitting at my desk. So when I'm making phone calls, typically I'm not using my mobile device. I'm using GoToConnect that Chris was talking about earlier, connected with acoustic fence. Well, what does acoustic fence do? Well, it takes the multiple microphones that are built into that phone and reduces background noise for not your own experience, but for the far end. So the person talking to me, my dog starts barking because somebody rang the doorbell. My wife is grinding coffee in the kitchen. My kids are yelling at each other. When I'm on the handset or I'm on a headset connected to my desktop telephone, they don't hear any of that noise at all, because what we're doing is we're taking the multiple microphones on the desktop phone, and we're listening to what's being directly inputted into the microphone of the handset or the headset microphone, and we're eliminating all the ambient background noise. Incredible technology. The other technology that we've created is a technology called noise block. It's more for a group device where you're actually trying to allow more noise coming in. This is what I call a huddle device. So maybe as a professional salesperson, you're bringing this device, you put it on the table, and you're talking to somebody on the far end, but you're in a lunch meeting and you forget to mute. This recognizes when you do forget to talk and you're introducing unwanted sounds into the conversation, and it starts to limit those sounds. The close conversation limiting, the headset I'm talking to you on right now, has that technology, which just takes acoustic fence to the next level, allows you to do it wirelessly and eliminate background noise for the far end. And then you take in the noise cancellation on the headset itself, and you really are in your own little bubble doing work and being productive and having incredible conversations with customers, which is what I think we're all interested in doing ultimately. So for CPSA members, we have come together. We've made a website that you can go to, and you can get 20% off of several different tools, from headsets, the speakerphone that I just showed you, the headset that Chris showed you earlier in the conversation, as well as several other devices. He talked about a high quality camera. We've got one of the best, I would say, entry-level priced high definition cameras in the industry. Actually, I'm not using it right now. Mine also is on order, but those are some things that you can go peruse and buy. We'd love to help you guys choose. So you're just going to go to the CPSA website. You'll see the special offer there. You'll see a discount code that you can use, and you can shop Poly. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Melanie to wrap this up and give a few other resources for CPSA members.
Well, thank you very much, Aaron, and thank you, Chris. That was a great presentation. Let me take a quick minute to introduce myself. I'm with Dialogue Connect, previously known, you may know us as Dialogue Conferencing, and we are here to connect you with the right partners. you can concentrate on your business and you can lean on us to help counsel you. So we are working both with Chris and Aaron to bring you a fantastic offering that they've put together, especially for you, and just really, I guess, special order for the CPSA partners. So you can reach us, you can contact me for all your questions, and then I will direct you to Chris and Aaron accordingly. I'm able to be reached through the CPSA website. All my information is there. We are currently putting together a special promo for the CPSA members for GoToConnect. It's perfect timing. We're all there, we all need this, but we do understand that some of you may be under contract currently with your telco partners. So if that's the case, we do have other offerings that we are ready to help you with. So give me a call. I'm here to answer all your questions and then, help you guys decide which way to go. So look forward to hearing from you all. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Melanie. I do think that now we should have the opportunity to launch that poll. Chris, do you feel you have the tools to work remotely effectively? Are you okay if I launch that now, just to gauge the audience?
Please do. Yeah, sorry about that earlier.
Perfect. Just give it about 10 more seconds. Okay. And can you see the results there, Chris?
I can, yeah. So thanks very much for participating. About 84% have voted. 80% feel that they have the tools, that they're confident with the tools that they currently have. So great. I hope that some of the points and the tips and tricks you can benefit from. Again, if you have any other further questions about any of the presentation, please let me know. Happy to answer any questions or dive deeper into some of those tips and tricks.
Thank you so much, Chris, Aaron, and Mike, and as well, Melanie. We do have time for a few questions, so should you have any, please feel free to enter them within the question function. We do have the first one here. Please restate the name of your headset. So Aaron and Chris, if you could please tell us what you're using. The sound obviously is very good.
Sure. I mean, since this is going to be really a poly question, I will answer that I'm using a 5200 Voyager from Poly or Plantronics. Really cost effective. Again, one of my favorite tools that I use. So a 5200 Voyager.
I also love that headset a lot. I use it, and that headset has a technology called wind resistance. So if you're outside and it's windy, which salespeople are often outside moving around, the customer's not hearing the wind. But I'm using the Savvy 8200 series headset, which will be on that website that you look at. I also really, really love this headset, which is the Voyager 6200. Has many of the same technology, but much more of a mobile device.
Perfect, thank you so much. And we do have a few questions regarding the URL offer that we have with Dialogue. So we will be posting that in an email to all of our attendees after the webinar as well. Any more questions for Mike, Aaron, and Chris? You had mentioned, Chris, a PBX, I think is what it's called.
I just saw that. Yeah, so PBX translates to private branch exchange. What it really should be is a automated private branch exchange. I often talk about Bugs Bunny when trying to describe what this is. So I'm sure we all saw Bugs Bunny with the operator in front of the big wall connecting the calls. That's an exchange. So what an automated private branch exchange is ultimately the phone solution's ability to be able to connect to extensions and to different solutions within that. Premise-based solutions have that functionality. Our private branch exchange is on the cloud, so you can access it no matter where you are. So ultimately, a phone system.
So this is Melanie. So just to answer a little bit in layman's terms, it's really the ability to take your phone and move with it. You now will have the ability to answer on your cell phone, to answer at your home office, to answer at your work office. It's in the cloud. It's available to you anywhere you go. And this is the future. And what's really nice about the GoToConnect offering today is it's being offered to you at a special price where you're getting the phone, the collaboration, all in one at a very, very, very low price. So basically getting the two solutions for what the price of one.
Now, it's been my dream to break one of my rules and not turn on a video. I want to do a presentation one day where I'm going through this, obviously using this noise cancellation, and then at the end turn on the video and I'm in my bathing suit in Mexico on a beach somewhere. That's one of my dreams. So with our solution, you can certainly do that.
I want part of that dream.
Yeah.
Mike, we have a few people who are wondering about your background. Mike, I like your virtual office background. How did you go about getting that?
Sorry, I was muted. That's actually a great question. So what I'm using right now is actually a third-party piece of software called ChromaCam. So these are free downloads. As you can see, because of the watermark, it's an unpaid subscription. Having said that, we at LogMeIn have had this on our roadmap, and all of a sudden it's come to the forefront. So we've been asked to expedite the capability to insert a background specifically for folks. I mean, Aaron, as you can see, is on the West Coast. I believe California's got a lot of sunshine. Chris and I typically don't have the sunshine up here. So this is basically freeware, and I've actually been trialing it out, kind of poke some holes in it and so on from a security perspective, making sure it's robust and so on. So again, free, in my case, ChromaCam, and I believe Instagram also has a piece of freeware as well to insert some fun backgrounds into your video feed. Hopefully that answers the question.
That's perfect, Mike. Thank you so much. Melanie, I think maybe you can answer this one. We have a couple of people who are wondering about the 20% off deal with Poly, or sorry, maybe Aaron, you could.
Yep, happy to. So when you go to the CPSA website, there's a landing page. It'll give you all the information and a special discount code.
And that should be good, I believe, until the end of May. But we will be sending out an email to all of you
Correct.
with the benefit as well after the webinar. If there are any more questions, but I think that we have covered them all.
Well, I see one here that's specific to JiveView in the passphrase. So with JiveView, if you're on the website, you're going to need to click on the not sure where to start, click here, and download a very small weight client. Once you run that for the first time, it will give you a unique passphrase, which you would then enter into that window on JiveView. We can send, perhaps after this, we'll make sure that you have those resources. So we'll send links to be able to download and go directly to JiveView.
Perfect, that would be great. A couple of minutes if you want. I think we're okay. Well, thank you everybody for joining today's webinar. I hope that the strategies and tips presented here today were of value and can help you in your day-to-day. I'd like to thank Aaron and Mike and Chris, as well Melanie, for all of your help in creating this content for the community today. Thank you so much, and I hope everyone has a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.